Hey guys, welcome back. Tonight, we're slipping into the shadows of history, into a world where secret handshakes, hidden oaths, midnight rituals, and forbidden knowledge shaped the fate of empires. Tonight, we uncover the dark history of secret societies, the Freemasons, the Illuminati, the Rosicrucians, the Carbonari, and the Golden Dawn. Those who believed that truth was too powerful to be shown in daylight, and that only the silence of night could reveal who we really are beneath the noise of the world. So, before you get comfortable, take a gentle moment to like this video and subscribe, but only if these deep sleep history stories help you find peace, sleep better, or simply reflect on our shared journey through time. Now, close your eyes. Let the candles flicker. Let the London fog settle. And let your mind drift with me into a world where mysteries breathe softly in the dark. Tonight, our journey begins with a sound that once echoed through the darkest corners of the Middle Ages. A steady rhythm of chisel against stone, rising and falling like a quiet heartbeat of forgotten centuries. The Freemasons. Long before they became a symbol whispered in conspiracy theories, they were builders, humble craftsmen who shaped cathedrals so grand that even kings bowed their heads beneath them. Imagine yourself standing inside a vast stone hall lit only by trembling candle flames. The air is cold yet soft, carrying the scent of crushed limestone, warm wax, and the faint murmur of distant work. Shadows ripple across unfinished pillars, and the ground beneath your feet hums with history. Thousands of footsteps, thousands of hands, thousands of voices that believed stone could speak if carved with purpose. These men were not nobles, nor priests, nor warriors. They were keepers of a sacred craft. To them, geometry was not a school subject. It was divine language, a map of creation itself. And so they called God the great architect of the universe. Not a ruler sitting on a throne above the clouds, but a cosmic builder, shaping existence with the same patience and precision with which they shaped stone. In this dim hall, the world outside disappears. The Middle Ages. Noisy markets, flickering taverns, streets echoing with horse hooves, fade into silence. Here, only the slow breath of the building remains. The Freemasons gathered in places like this not to plot rebellions or to topple kingdoms, but to guard the secrets that made their work unlike any other. Secrets learned through years of apprenticeship. Secrets that protected them from imposters in an age when survival depended on the skills you could prove with your hands. And because secrets must be shared carefully, they created signs. Silent gestures, subtle movements of the fingers, a pull of the forearm, a tilt of the wrist. To outsiders, they were nothing. To a Mason, they were a doorway. Every gesture whispered, "I am one of you." Now, Imagine walking deeper into this hall until you reach a circle of men surrounded by tools laid neatly on cloth. Compasses, squares, mallets polished smooth from use. Their faces, lit by candle halos, are calm and focused. This is not a conspiracy, it is a brotherhood. A bond forged not through whispered plots, but through shared labor, shared nights, shared belief in something enduring. They are building more than walls. They are building meaning, brick by brick, symbol by symbol. And yet, as you stand among them, you sense a quiet truth. The world would never understand them. For the more mystical their work appeared, the more the public filled the silence with imagination, transforming humble builders into secret power brokers. But here in the glow of candlelight, you see them as they truly were: tired, skilled, committed men, refining more than stone. They were shaping identity, tradition, and the invisible architecture of trust. And as the night settles in and the final sparks of the chisel fade, you understand why their legacy slipped into legend. What is protected in darkness is often misunderstood as danger, and what is built in silence is often looked at as if it hides a secret. But the Freemasons simply built with care, and care in any age is the rarest magic of all. If you listen carefully, you can hear it. The gentle scrape of stone being shaped by hands that understood patience better than any philosopher. The night deepens around the old workshop, and the Freemasons begin their quiet gathering, not a meeting of power, but of presence. A space where craft, identity, and quiet pride wrap around them like warm cloaks against the cold medieval air. As you step closer, you notice something subtle. They are not simply workers, they are storytellers of stone. Every strike of the mallet, every careful measurement of the compass, every curve of the chisel carries a whisper of intention. A cathedral is not just built, it is dreamed into being. And dreams require guardians. In a world where knowledge was rare, dangerous, and often forbidden to those born into lower stations, these builders held something priceless: mastery. Skilled hands could open doors that noble birth could not. And so their gatherings became echoes of protection, not for treasure, but for tradition. In one corner of the hall, an elder mason gently guides a young apprentice, not through words, but through shared rhythm. Swing, tap, breathe. The moment feels almost sacred, as if the stone itself is listening. Apprentices did not simply learn, they absorbed. Through silence, through repetition, through the humility of knowing that every mark they left would outlive them by centuries. Now imagine the candles dimming as the discussion shifts. The men arrange themselves in a circle where each pair of eyes reflects the warm shimmer of flames. This is where the secret signs matter, not because they hide danger, but because they protect belonging. A handshake is not simply a handshake. It is a reminder. You are trusted here. A password is not simply a word. It is a promise. You have earned your place. Outside these walls, society was rigid. Kings at the top, peasants at the bottom, and little room for anyone to move between. But here, within stone walls built by their own hands, rank was determined by skill, not bloodline. Brotherhood was chosen, not inherited. And that, more than anything, made outsiders uneasy. In a world obsessed with control, a group united by knowledge and trust, not power, was strange, even threatening. And so rumors grew like ivy on an ancient wall. But inside this hall, they ignore such noise. Their world is measured not by rumors, but by lines carved straight, arches aligned perfectly, stones that settle into place with a soft, satisfying finality. As you watch them exchange their signs, motions almost too small to notice, you begin to feel the softness of the moment. This isn't a society of shadows. It is a community of builders who found meaning in structure, comfort in ritual, and purpose in detail. The night grows colder, but the room feels warmer, filled with quiet laughter, murmured stories, and the unspoken joy of men who know their craft binds them together. And as the final candle flickers low, you understand why the world turned them into myth. What people do not understand, they fear. What they cannot join, they magnify. But here, among the stone whispers and warm candle halos, you see the truth. The Freemasons were not born of darkness. They were born of devotion. Devotion to craft, to brotherhood, to the belief that even stone, cold, silent, unchanging, can carry the soul of those who shape it. Leaving behind the stone halls of the Freemasons, we drift deeper into the hush of another world, one woven not from granite and lime, but from ink, candlelight, and questions too dangerous to speak aloud. Bavaria, 1776. A land where forests were so dark that the locals believed night had a second home among the twisted branches. And somewhere within that heavy stillness, Inside a quiet room sealed tight against the wind, a spark was lit. The Illuminati, not the monstrous puppeteers of modern rumor, but a circle of thinkers who believed ideas could reshape the world long before armies ever tried. Picture the scene as it truly was: a small chamber, its wooden walls soaked with the scent of old books and colder nights. A round oak table stands at the center, worn smooth by countless discussions that never made it into any official record. Around it sit 5 men, scholars, philosophers, dreamers, each wrapped in coats too thin for the Bavarian chill. Their breaths rise like pale ghosts in the dim light. And at the head of the table, Adam Weishaupt, not a sorcerer, not a shadow king, but a professor, a man whose greatest rebellion was believing that minds deserved freedom even in a world determined to chain them. In this room, silence is not empty, it is sacred. You hear the soft scratch of a quill drawing words across parchment, each stroke carrying a quiet defiance that knowledge should belong to everyone, not only to kings or clergy. The candles flicker, their flames dancing as if listening in. Outside, Europe sleeps under crowns, scepters, and centuries of inherited power. But here, in the hidden warmth of this chamber, something else is waking. A wish, a whisper, a possibility. The men speak softly about reason, equality, and the fragile hope that humanity could lift itself from superstition. Their voices are gentle, not because they are unsure, but because the walls have ears and the world beyond them is not ready for such thoughts. The Illuminati was not born in thunder or fire. It was born in caution, in humility, in the careful shaping of ideas shared between people who understood that change must begin quietly, like the first glow of dawn behind a mountain. Imagine leaning closer to the table, watching their eyes reflect the candle halos. Each man knows that what they discuss, if spoken publicly, could cost them their careers, their safety, even their lives. But the human mind is stubborn. Once lit, it refuses to return to darkness. And so they continue, steady and calm, crafting a philosophy that stretches beyond themselves. Their goal is not control, it is illumination, a word that in its simplest form means bringing light into a place that has lived too long without it. And in that room, under the trembling flame of a single candle, the world's most misunderstood society takes its first quiet breath, not with the intention to dominate the world, but with the fragile hope of understanding it better. Now, let us drift further into that hidden chamber, where the night presses softly against the windows, and every breath of candlelight feels like a small rebellion against the darkness outside. The 5 men remain seated, but something in the room has shifted. Their ideas grow bolder, their whispers steadier, as though the very forest surrounding them is leaning in to listen. Weishaupt carefully unrolls a sheet of parchment, its edges curled like the pages of forbidden scripture. But there is no prophecy here, no magic, only questions. Questions that challenge everything the world believes to be unshakable. If kings rule by birthright, who gave them that right? If the church claims absolute truth, why must truth be shielded from honest debate? If society fears change, does that fear make stagnation safer or simply quieter? The quill glides again, each stroke deliberate, shaping not commands but invitations, inviting men to think, to question, to look at the world not as it is, but as it could be. Outside, the wind moves through the Bavarian forest like a low hymn, carrying the scent of pine and damp earth. It does not know that history is shifting in a room scarcely large enough for 5 chairs. Illuminati gatherings were never grand ceremonies. No torches held aloft, no robes embroidered with secrets, just minds meeting in the dim glow of shared curiosity. And yet, this simplicity is what made them powerful, because ideas, unlike armies, do not require armor. They move quietly, through conversations whispered at dusk, letters exchanged at midnight, and thoughts carried home in silence. That is why secrecy was essential, not for manipulation, but for survival. The world of 1776 was fragile. A wrong word could be treason. A misunderstood sentence could cost a life. So the Illuminati spoke softly, choosing subtle gestures and coded phrases, not to hide evil, but to protect the delicate spark of reform they were nurturing. Imagine them now, sitting closer as the room grows colder. A young member reads aloud from a paper, his voice trembling not with fear, but with awe. He speaks of education, of moral improvement, of a world where wisdom is valued more than bloodline. Weishaupt nods slowly, knowing these ideas may never see daylight, not in their lifetimes. But seeds once planted do not ask for permission to grow. In this moment, under candle halos and the watchful eyes of old books, they are planting a forest of ideas, one that future generations will walk through without ever knowing who first sowed the roots. The final candle flickers, casting long shadows that move gently across the walls. And as the room falls into a softer, deeper quiet, a feeling settles over the men. Not triumph, not danger, but purpose. They are not reshaping the world tonight. They are simply daring to imagine it. And sometimes imagination is the boldest revolution of all. Deeper into the night, we leave Bavaria's quiet chambers behind and drift toward a world where shadows take on shapes of symbols, circles, triangles, roses blooming in the dark. Here, the air feels older, almost metallic, as though it remembers centuries of whispered experiments and half-forgotten dreams. We enter the realm of the Rosicrucians, the Order of the Rose Cross, a brotherhood rumored to chase immortality not through power, but through a quiet yearning to understand the universe's hidden threads. Their existence has always felt uncertain, too elusive to grasp, too persistent to dismiss. Imagine a lonely stone tower rising from a sea of fog. Moonlight touches its narrow windows, and inside, a single flame flickers over glass flasks, copper coils, and manuscripts covered in strange alchemical glyphs. Here, a Rosicrucian works alone, his hands stained with herbs and ash, his breath slow, steady, serene. He isn't seeking to turn metal into gold, as legend claims. No, he is searching for a subtler kind of transformation, the refinement of the inner self. The night presses softly against the windows as he grinds dried rosemary and mint, releasing a fragrance that curls through the air like invisible rivers. The scent mingles with warm resins, the sweetness of frankincense, and the earthiness of crushed petals. These aromas do not simply fill the room, they guide his mind toward a state of gentle clarity. He believes every plant carries a secret, every mineral hums with ancient memory, every substance mirrors a part of the human soul. And if he listens closely enough, if he remains patient, silent, something in the universe will whisper back. The Rosicrucians were alchemists of the spirit. To them, the laboratory was not a place of chaos, but a temple where the boundaries between the physical and the divine thinned. Even the simplest motion, swirling a flask, heating a mixture until it glows, watching vapors rise, felt like participating in the quiet mechanics of creation itself. Picture the room now. The walls glow amber in candlelight. Books line the shelves, their spines faded, their pages soft from years of turning. A red rose in a small brass cup sits beside a simple wooden cross, the symbol of their order. Not a symbol of suffering, but of balance, matter and spirit, body and soul, earth and cosmos. As the alchemist continues his work, the tower grows utterly silent. No footsteps in the hall, no voices from the world outside. Only the soft bubbling of a small glass vessel, and the faint rhythmic tapping of his finger on the table as he waits. He believes silence is not emptiness, it is presence, a doorway, a place where the soul grows light enough to hear truths that daylight drowns out. And in that silence, something changes within him. Not a revelation, not a miracle, but a gentle shift, like a curtain stirring in a room with no breeze. A reminder that knowledge worth having is never loud. It arrives like moonlight, soft, patient, willing to illuminate only when you are ready to see.
Let us drift further into that tower where midnight feels softer and every shadow seems alive with meaning. The alchemist leans closer to a small crucible, watching a mixture shimmer beneath a gentle flame. His eyes do not search for miracles, they search for patterns, tiny echoes of the cosmos hidden inside a droplet of liquid silver. To the Rosicrucians, alchemy was never about greed. It was meditation, a dialogue with the universe spoken through symbols instead of words. They believed the world was layered, the physical realm, the psychological realm, and a third realm, subtle, luminous, accessible only through stillness. And tonight, in this secluded tower, that stillness feels almost tangible. The alchemist lights a thin stick of incense. Smoke rises in delicate spirals, drifting like a staircase into the unseen. He closes his eyes, not to sleep, but to listen. He imagines the universe as a vast tapestry, every star a stitch, every human life a thread woven with intention. Somewhere in that tapestry, he believes, lies the secret of harmony, an answer not to how matter transforms, but why it yearns to. A faint sound breaks the quiet, the soft bubbling of a distillation flask. The alchemist opens his eyes and gently swirls the vessel, watching colors shift from deep amber to pale gold. He thinks of this process not as science, but as reflection. If matter can purify itself through fire, perhaps the soul can too, through contemplation. This belief, quiet, private, unwavering, is what made the Rosicrucians so mysterious. They did not recruit, they did not march, they did not carve their names into history with force. Instead, they slipped through it like wisps of smoke, leaving ideas rather than monuments behind. Imagine the alchemist now moving toward a window. He unlatches the lock, and a draft of cold night air fills the room. The forest below stretches endlessly, silvered by moonlight. He places the red rose on the windowsill, letting the petals catch the glow. For him, the rose is not decoration. It is a reminder of the soul, fragile yet persistent, temporary yet filled with purpose. Beside it, the wooden cross symbolizes the body, earthbound, limited, but capable of meaning when paired with spirit. Together, they form the rosy cross, a symbol of becoming. The tower grows colder, but the alchemist feels calm. He returns to his desk and opens a leather-bound manuscript. Its pages are filled with diagrams, circles within circles, serpents swallowing their tails, stars arranged in geometric patterns. He traces one symbol gently, as though greeting an old friend. To him, symbols are not codes, they are mirrors, tools to understand not the hidden power of the world, but the hidden landscapes of his own heart. As the final candle burns low, he gathers his tools, cleans the table, and sits in the darkness with steady breath. He knows he may never find the absolute truth he seeks, but he also knows that the pursuit itself, slow, devoted, silent, is a kind of truth. And as the night folds gently around him, the Rosicrucian legacy becomes clear. Immortality is not about living forever. It is about leaving behind something that continues to glow long after the flame goes out. Now let us step into the most sacred moment of all, midnight, the hour that hovers delicately between day and night, between the realm of the living and the soft echo of the dead. Every secret society, no matter how old or obscure, found comfort in the darkness, and the darkness, in return, wrapped them like velvet. Why midnight? Because at midnight, titles dissolve. In the dark, a king becomes indistinguishable from a merchant. A philosopher sits shoulder to shoulder with a soldier, and every mask, literal or symbolic, falls away beneath the flicker of candlelight. Listen closely. The steady rhythm of footsteps on old wooden floors. A pause. Then 3 knocks, slow, deliberate. Knock, knock, knock. The door creaks open, not hurriedly, but with the gentle weight of tradition. Inside, an entire room glows with candle halos. Shadows sway on the walls like silent witnesses. Robes of deep velvet rustle softly as figures move into place. Their masks, some carved, some plain, catch just a sliver of light, enough to reveal emotion without revealing identity. A book rests at the center of the table, its leather worn, its pages thick with the scent of centuries. Tonight it will hold another oath, but oaths here are not written in ink. They are carved into silence, into the stillness between heartbeats. A voice rises, low and steady, almost like ASMR whispering. I swear to guard this secret until my final breath leaves my chest. For a moment, even the candles seem to freeze. The air thickens, holding the words in suspension as though afraid they might escape. In that suspended stillness, the men no longer exist as individuals. Their breaths align, their thoughts merge, their presence becomes a single shadow among many. Midnight rituals were never meant to terrify. They were meant to center the mind, to quiet it, to return each participant to a place within themselves that daylight rarely allows them to visit. Past the marketplace noise, past the responsibilities of their roles, past the expectations pinned onto their names, in the ritual chamber, the world outside ceases to exist, and within this hush, something inside them settles, an order within chaos. The ritual begins not with grand gestures, but with subtle ones. A candle snuffed to mark the beginning, a slow inhalation shared by everyone in the room, a moment where silence becomes heavier than stone. You can almost feel it, like standing inside a memory that does not belong to you. The velvet robes brushing the floor, the faint scent of beeswax and burning myrrh, the masked faces turning slightly toward the center, waiting. This is not a ceremony for control. It is a ceremony for surrender, for letting go of the noise of the world until only breath, heartbeat, and intention remain. And as the candle smoke curls upward, thin and silver, the mind begins to drift, like a thought rising through layers of forgotten dreams. Midnight rituals were, in their essence, a form of ancient therapy, a way for people burdened by expectations, responsibilities, and unspoken fears to find clarity in a moment of structured stillness. And now let your own mind drift with that rising smoke, feeling the softness of secrecy, the safety of darkness, and the comfort of something shared but never spoken aloud.
Let the door close softly behind us now, as we drift deeper into the ceremony's hidden pulse. The candles, once bright, seem to dim themselves, as though respecting the gravity of what is about to unfold. The room breathes, slowly, collectively, like a single living organism. At the center stands a tall candelabrum, its wax dripping like frozen tears. Around it, the cloaked figures form a circle, their silhouettes merging with the shadows behind them. The ritual master lifts a hand. Not high, not commanding, just enough to signal the shift from the outer world to the inner one. The circle responds by lowering their heads, a unified descent into introspection. Midnight rituals were built on repetition, not to hypnotize, but to calm, to remind the mind that structure exists even in mystery. The master begins with a whisper. All secrets are shadows, and all shadows are safe in the dark. The words float, soft, weightless. The flickering flames wrap themselves around each syllable, warming them before releasing them into the air. A bowl of water is passed around the circle. Each person dips a finger into it, letting a drop fall to the floor. It symbolizes shedding the world, its noise, its burdens, its expectations. In that tiny motion, something inside them softens. Then comes the second moment, the clasping of hands. A gesture simple enough to overlook, yet profound in its effect. Under the anonymity of masks and robes, touch becomes a reminder that no one carries the weight alone. In the darkness, equality breathes. Listen carefully now. A low hum begins at the edge of the room. It grows, not louder, but deeper, like a vibration felt more than heard. It is the ritual's heart, a frequency shared by everyone present, a rhythm that washes over them like a warm tide. Eyes close, shoulders relax. Some lean slightly toward the center, drawn as if by gravity. The hum merges with the soft crackle of candles, creating a soundscape as soothing as ancient ASMR. One painted with shadows instead of syllables. The master moves his hand once more. A masked figure steps forward, carrying a small wooden box. Inside lies a candle, unlit. Not just any candle, but the midnight flame, used only once every year. The box is opened. A hush sweeps through the room. The master lights the flame with a match that seems almost too loud in the quiet. The moment the wick catches, every figure inhales. This flame represents the secret each of them keeps. A secret not of conspiracy, but of identity. The parts of oneself that are too fragile to show the world. One by one, they approach the flame, not to swear an oath, not to offer tribute, but to look, to simply acknowledge the piece of themselves they protect with silence. When the final figure steps back into the circle, the flame is extinguished with a gentle breath, and the room returns to darkness. Not empty darkness, but meaningful darkness, warm with shared emotion. Midnight rituals were never about fear. They were about finding sanctuary within shadows. And as the ceremony ends, The sense of sanctuary lingers like the last echo of a whispered prayer.
If stone walls could hear, then the ancient forests of Italy could see. And tonight, they are watching, their branches swaying like heavy eyelids, observing the glowing embers of hidden campfires. Welcome to the world of the Carbonari, the charcoal burners, a brotherhood born not in marble halls or candle-lit chambers, but in the wild, breathing heart of nature. Breathe in with me. Do you sense it? The scent of damp leaves pressed into the soil after rain, the musk of pine bark, and the warm, smoky perfume of slow-burning wood. This is their sanctuary. This is where revolution learned how to whisper. In the early 19th century, Italy was a land caught between oppression and awakening. And while royal courts plodded under golden ceilings, the Carbonari gathered under something grander. Cathedral-like canopies of ancient oaks. Their meeting place was called the Vendita, a word that means place of charcoal, but in truth it meant a refuge for hearts seeking fire. Picture the night, fog draped low across the forest floor, soft as silk, crickets composing a gentle chorus, and at the center, embers glowing like tiny rubies, revealing silhouettes of men wrapped in coarse wool cloaks. They were not nobles, yet they carried the quiet courage of those who believed in change. They were not priests, yet they practiced a kind of spiritual ritual with every spark, every flame. Charcoal was their symbol, black, earthy, unassuming, like potential waiting to be awakened. To them, charcoal represented belief before it is tested. And fire was truth. It was the moment when conviction met flame and revealed what was real and what was merely ash. A Carbonaro sits near the fire now. Watch him. He turns a piece of charcoal slowly between his fingers, staining his skin with dark powder. Not carelessly, but reverently. He believes that before a man can ignite the world, he must understand the weight of unlit fuel. The wind moves through the branches, brushing them together like old bones whispering. Above, the moon hides behind traveling clouds. In this darkness, no one has a title. No one is more powerful than another. They call one another good cousins, a reminder that in the forest, hierarchy dissolves. Only brotherhood remains. Imagine the circle drawing closer to the fire. Their faces glow softly, amber on cheekbones, gold in their eyes. They speak in murmurs about hope, about liberty, about a homeland that still sleeps under heavy chains. But their words never rise above the crackle of fire. Secrecy is not a tactic, it is survival. A twig snaps somewhere in the distance. Not danger, just a deer stepping lightly across fallen branches. Even the animals have grown used to these meetings. sensing the gentle intention that hangs in the air. The forest embraces them, protects them, soothes them, and as the fire breathes, brightening, dimming, brightening again, you begin to understand this is not merely a society. It is a ritual of belonging, a ritual rooted in earth, smoke, and silence. And under this canopy, far from cities, far from suspicion, men learned to listen not just to each other, but to themselves.
Let the forest draw us deeper, past the circle of firelight, into the place where night becomes a living creature. The Carbonari continue their gathering, but something in the atmosphere has shifted. The fire burns lower now, transforming from a beacon into a quiet companion. The men sit closer to it, not for warmth, but for reflection. Imagine the forest's breath. It moves through the leaves like a slow tide, brushing over their shoulders, carrying with it the scent of moss, rain, and ancient bark. Each Carbonaro seems to breathe in sync with it, as though nature itself is part of the ritual. In the Carbonari tradition, fire was never merely fire. It was a teacher, a confessor, a mirror. It revealed who you were when the world stripped away titles, occupations, and expectations. No one came into the forest wearing a crown. No one brought a throne. Here, equality wasn't philosophical, it was physical, embodied in the shared glow that touched every face the same way. A young Carbonaro sits at the edge of the circle now, his cloak gathered tightly around him. His eyes flicker with the firelight as he listens to the older members speak. Not in commands, not in instructions, but in stories, soft, slow, seasoned by years. Stories of oppression, stories of quiet rebellion, stories of people who carried sparks long before they knew how to kindle flames. The young man feels something warm settle inside him. Not ambition, but belonging, a sense that he has stepped into a lineage older than memory, carried not by blood, but by conviction. A log breaks apart in the fire with a soft sigh, sending a brief shower of sparks upward. The men watch the sparks dissolve into the black canopy above, imagining their hopes rising with them. Then, as silence settles again, one of them reaches into a small leather pouch. He withdraws a piece of charcoal, dark, dense, cold. He presses it gently into the earth, drawing a faint line. This is the Carbonari's private symbolism. Charcoal for the self still waiting, earth for the world still changing, fire for the moment everything transforms. It is simple, wordless, but powerful. The wind shifts, carrying the distant sound of water, perhaps a stream, perhaps just dew rolling off leaves. Either way, the forest seems to hum softly, as though giving its blessing. Above, the clouds drift aside, allowing a sliver of moonlight to spill through the branches.
It touches each face like anointing. In this mixture of moon, smoke, and quiet breath, the Carbonari complete their ritual, not with vows, but with presence, with listening, with a shared moment that feels almost sacred. As the final ember dims, their shadows grow long and gentle across the forest floor. They do not fear the darkness. The darkness is their ally, hiding them, comforting them, reminding them that some revolutions begin not with shouts, but with whispers carried by the night.
When the night grew darkest over London, when the fog swallowed every gas lamp and turned even the nearest street corner into a question mark, that was when a different kind of sunrise began to glow. One not in the sky, but in the minds of those who went looking for magic. Our story begins to close in the age of steam and shadows, in late 19th century London, where the clatter of carriages and the hiss of engines lived side by side with quiet obsessions about tarot history, Western esotericism, and the Golden Dawn occult. Imagine yourself seated in a warm, dim library, tucked away from the chill of Victorian London ambience. Outside, the cobblestones are slick with mist, and the city moves like a half-remembered dream, horses' hoods echoing, distant voices muffled, chimney smoke curling into the blank white sky. Inside, everything is slower, softer. Shelves stretch up toward a ceiling you can barely see, crowded with leather-bound books that breathe out a comforting scent of paper, ink, and time. This is where the hermetic order of the Golden Dawn meets. Not in dungeons or towers, but in rooms like this, rooms that feel more like sanctuaries than secret bases. The members are not cloaked villains. They are poets, doctors, actors, scholars, and restless souls who sense that the visible world is only one layer of a much deeper pattern. Candles flicker atop heavy oak tables. On the surface lies a carefully arranged tarot deck, its images hand-painted, worn at the edges by years of contemplation. A chart of the heavens is pinned to the wall, mapping the slow dance of the planets across the night sky. Nearby rests a brass telescope, still dusted from the last time someone pointed it at Orion or Venus, searching not for prediction, but for perspective. These seekers are not chasing political power. They are searching for elevation of the soul. In a world obsessed with industry and empire, they have chosen a different quest: to move through ignorance, fear, and spiritual numbness toward something they simply call the light. You hear the soft turning of pages as someone consults a text on Kabbalah, tracing the paths of the tree of life with a fingertip, not as a roadmap to dominance, but as a mirror of inner transformation. Another member, perhaps a young poet who will one day become famous, studies the tarot not as fortune-telling, but as a symbolic language, a way to speak gently to the subconscious mind. In a corner, a clock ticks with patient certainty. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Its steady rhythm folds into the crackle of the fireplace and the faint hum of the city outside, creating a soothing soundtrack for this quiet exploration. There is no rush here. Magic, as they understand it, does not arrive in flashes of lightning. It arrives like dawn, slow, pale, almost invisible until suddenly the room is filled with a warmth you can't quite explain. In the Golden Dawn occult tradition, darkness is not the enemy. It is preparation. A velvet curtain drawn across the stage so that when the first ray of inner light appears, your mind is ready to notice it. As you sit in this imaginary library, you begin to feel it too. That strange, gentle reassurance that the unknown is not automatically dangerous, that mysteries can be soft, healing, and even restful. The rustle of turning pages, the tick of the clock, the flicker of candlelight on ink and leather, all of it invites you to loosen your grip on certainty and simply float. And as the London fog presses quietly against the window panes, the members of the Golden Dawn lean a little closer to their books, their cards, their symbols, not to escape reality, but to meet it more fully, with eyes that are just a little more awake.
Let us linger in this library a little longer, as if time itself has slowed to the pace of a turning page. Outside, Victorian London ambience hums faintly. Carriages rolling over stone, distant conversation swallowed by fog. But in here, the world has narrowed to lamplight, ink, and the soft geometry of symbols. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn believed that the universe spoke in patterns, not loud ones, but quiet, persistent echoes, numbers, colors, paths on the tree of life, the archetypes of tarot history, the rhythms of planets moving through the night. They did not claim to control these forces. They sought to listen to them, to sit beside them the way you sit beside a sleeping friend, aware of their presence even when no words are spoken. Picture a long wooden table at the center of the room. On it lies a spread of tarot cards, the Fool at the edge of a cliff, the star pouring water into a river of possibility, the sun radiating childlike joy, and the moon, half-lit, mysterious, inviting you into questions rather than answers. A member of the order studies them in silence, not asking, "What will happen to me?" but gently wondering, "What part of myself is asking to be seen?" Nearby, another figure adjusts a brass telescope by the window. He peers through it not to conquer the sky, but to feel small beneath it, to remember that every worry, every secret, every ritual is taking place in a universe vast enough to hold them all without judgment. On a side table, a leather-bound journal lies open, pages filled with careful notes, dreams recorded before dawn, meditations on light and shadow, reflections on how even fear can be a teacher when met with patience. Aleister Crowley, poets, mystics, and skeptics alike moved through circles like this, sometimes in harmony, sometimes in conflict, but always orbiting the same question: how can a human soul grow quieter, clearer, more awake? The clock ticks on. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Each second feels less like a reminder of time passing and more like a gentle metronome guiding the breath. Inhale, exhale. Somewhere, someone closes a book with a soft thud, and another reaches for a new volume, its spine creaking like an old door opening to a new inner room. The beauty of the golden dawn was not in flawless doctrine or perfect answers. It was in the willingness to sit inside a question and stay there long enough for it to soften, to treat darkness not as an enemy to be fought, but as a quiet room where the eyes adjust slow, where shapes emerge gradually, where the mind has time to unclench. And so, as our journey through secret societies draws to a close, from Freemasons shaping cathedrals to Illuminati chasing inner light in Bavarian chambers, to Rosicrucians whispering with stars and herbs, to Carbonari warming their hopes beside forest fires at night, we end here in a library where the final secret is not about power at all. It is about rest, about the simple, radical idea that you too are allowed to step out of the noise and sit with your own mysteries without needing to solve them tonight. Outside, the fog of London thickens, but the room grows warmer. A single lamp glows like a private sunrise. As you listen to the gentle layers of sound, clock, pages, breath, distant city, you may notice your own thoughts beginning to slow. The darkness around you is no longer empty. It feels like a velvet curtain drawn around your bed. And somewhere, deep inside, a very quiet golden dawn rises, not in the sky, but in you.